This is from our guys at Blogging the Boys, and they do some really creative, fun work over there. And they did a mock draft where they had the Cowboys trading back. We really haven't talked about the Cowboys backing out of this thing. We've only really kind of talked about hanging in there and making picks. But this one is interesting because they got the Seahawks. They got the Seahawks coming to 26. And if you look at what Blogging the Boys did, the compensation you get back on the Cowboy trade chart, it's within 4 points.
Okay.
So this is not one of those. Sometimes it's like, people like, hey, Broadus, they should trade back, and they'll get a 1, another 1, and a 2.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work that way. So it
doesn't work.
You got to Google up that trade chart.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let them know.
No, but sometimes it's like, I think people have become more realistic with, when they start talking about trading.
Uh-huh.
It used to be like you're just trying to guess.
And people will just buy it. People will believe it.
Oh, yeah, good trade. Yeah, I like it. No, it's not. If you called and asked for that, they'd laugh at you, is what would happen. So, anyway, what the Cowboys are going to get is they're going to give up the first-round pick, number 26, the Seahawks' second-round pick, which is at 37. They pick up 85, which is the third-round pick, and then a seventh-round pick, which is pick 237. So if you do the math, Dallas's pick at 26 is worth 700 points. The Seahawks, with what you just traded for, is 696. So pretty much on the mark right there. All right, now
Square biz is what they call that, Brian.
Square business for sure on this one. So, okay, who you traded back to draft? And this is where Blogging.
How far we trade back again?
We went from 26 to 37. Okay, so you went from the back of the first round to up and towards the front of the second round.
All right.
But you picked up now. Now you own, if I can interest you in this, you got 37, 58, 85, and 90.
So you picked up an extra top 100 pick.
Yeah, is what you really did right there. So that would be, to me, if you're so inclined, if the board doesn't fall to you right, maybe, Gavin, you don't want to take a running back there, that kind of situation. Maybe the quarter board, like when we did the mock draft this morning on DallasCowboys.com on the draft show, the board on my board that was left were only offensive players as far as the top players. So, the cornerbacks got wiped out pretty good. And so, the tight ends, we had to talk about those guys as well. But this is what the Cowboys picked up. At 37, they draft Josh Downs, the wide receiver from North Carolina. Wolchuk, would you like to talk about Josh Downs?
Yeah, he's a true slot receiver. Not very big, works the middle of the field, well on drags and slants. He's got a really nice stutter step at the top of his route to set up DBs. But he's a guy that you can move all over the formation, and he is a true playmaker. But to me, I don't think that he's going to be able to win on the outside of the NFL. I think some of the knocks on a guy like Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma apply to this individual. I think Josh Downs is a slot-only kind of player. I would rather take Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma.
Marvin Mims would be, yeah.
I also think Parker Washington out of Penn State is better, in my opinion.
I like
than
what you're
Josh
saying.
Downs.
Absolutely. All right, with Dallas's own pick, we've talked about this guy. Here's a guard-center combination, Steve Avila from TCU.
That's perfect, and that's a perfect pick, and I think the Cowboys do like Steve Avila, and he's a guy, man, if you want to be impressed, watch him against Michigan. That was a big question. Could TCU's offensive line handle that Michigan front? And Mozzie Smith, who's another guy that's being talked about a lot at 26 for the Cowboys, Steve Avila won that battle that afternoon.
There's people that think that Steve Avila might be their pick at 26. So this very much could be like what they did with Diggs. All of a sudden you're talking about a guy that Dallas was looking at with Diggs in the first round. Instead, they draft C.D. Lamb, and then they turn around and somehow they get Diggs in the second. Steve Avila maybe could be that similar kind of guy.
Could be your plug-and-play starting left guard.
Okay, this is this is the pick you got from Seattle here. It's at number 85, and the Cowboys took Eli Ricks, and I know that he's the corner from Alabama, transferred from LSU. Okay, Wolchuk, you know something about this player not really good for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't think that the Cowboys are interested in an Eli Ricks type of player. This is a guy that's not going to give you much in the run game. I think he's susceptible against speedy, good route runners at receiver. I saw him get beat quite a bit, especially in that Tennessee game. He was a guy that Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt was able to take advantage of him down the field. You know, to me, I get why some people like Eli Ricks. I would be looking elsewhere at some other corners that maybe the Cowboys could be interested in. Maybe it's a Caillou Blue Kelly out of Stanford.
Yeah.
You know, in that range. Or
There's a kid named Caillou.
Yeah.
Caillou Blue Kelly, yeah.
And
he's a good player. Yeah.
He is.
Just a kid who's 4.
Or even a Cam Mitchell out of Northwestern is a guy that I think could be an interesting name there as well. But if you're mocking, and I see this a lot, Eli Ricks to the Cowboys, I think you should look at some other corners.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. Okay, Gavin, we're going to grab this running back at the third round pick, number 90.
Bang.
It's Kendre Miller from TCU.
Oh, I like Kendre Miller.
Good pick.
So, this is a guy, Kendre Miller, he's a local prospect of the Cowboys are rumored to be very interested in this guy. He's a guy that like when you watch him play late in the season, he got a little nicked up with a knee injury and stuff like that. And
they would have won without him, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. But this guy, when you're talking about a 5'11", 215-pound guy, he's kind of a twitchy kind of a player when you watch him run. And so I think that a guy that size, that kind of ability right there at 90, that might be exactly what you're kind of talking about with the running back. Maybe it's not what, my thought about taking a Bijan Robinson, but you wait until there's good running backs in this draft.
Sure are.
3rd, 4th, 5th round for the Cowboys to consider. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'll be interested to see, though, how they play it if Robinson's on the board. But other than the pick, like I say, and in the 4th round, real quick as I finish this up, they get linebacker Dorian Williams from Tulane.
Love that.
That's a perfect spot. That's a pick at 129. So if you're talking about the Cowboys, I think 3 of the 4 picks they really, really like. The Ricks one, probably one you would probably want to go another direction.